Jesus' name. So welcome to today's English class. So we have a lot to do today. We have a lot to do, honestly. So we have a lot to do. So I don't want to waste most of our time. So we have like 100 questions to solve because this is a Utme English, which is 2010. So it is 2010. So it is 100 questions. So I'm waiting for some people to connect because I want to start with passage, and we have like 3 passages there. So I have 3 passages there. So it's not something that I can just, if I start now, just be, and this is part of the things I promised to teach you guys because it's part of the syllabus, because we have not done that. So I want to solve the question for you so that you can see how to answer questions on a passage. So we are waiting for some people to connect. So once they connect, we are going to start immediately. I will just wait a little bit because I've told my students that they should join, they should stand by so that, because I can go online anytime. So, and I'm not sure if I'm still not going to be having mathematics class tonight. So that. Okay, alright. So I can see that Damilola has joined. Testimony has joined. The only way I can know you have joined me is when you comment. If you don't comment, it's as if you don't come to class. So 3 people have joined already. So let's start with passage. So thank you guys for joining. And if you have a reason not to end with the class, let me know. It's not a good thing leaving the class without permission. So let's start now. Now, whenever you want to solve a question on passage, you need to know that in a passage, you don't, the mass passage now, 2010, JAMB asked them 100 questions, right? But it's not so again now. The questions they will ask you is like 60 questions. They will give you passage, like 5 questions on passage, right? They can give you 10 questions on register. I'm going to teach you register also in this video if time permits us. So in this live session rather. So now there's something you need to know, that this passage, it carries a lot of mark. According to what I heard, some people say it's 3 marks by question. I'm not sure. Some people just said it. That passage actually carries a lot of marks. You understand? So it carries a lot of marks. So you have to like take it with all priority. Now there's something you need to know about the passage. You just see a passage like this. Passage is not done just like this. There are some things you have to know about the person that writes the passage. We have the tone of the writer, that is, how is the person writing? How is it communicating his message? Is the person blunt? We also have the mood, that is the writer happy with what he's saying? Is the writer optimistic? Is he pessimistic? Is the writer critical, or is he just having a form of sarcasm or things like that? So those are part of especially those are studying literature in English, you know what I'm saying now. So, but I don't want to bore you with all this. Let's just go to the passage. Now, there's something you need to know about solving questions on passage. Whenever you want to solve questions on passage, there's a trick my teacher taught me to that time. You have to firstly go and firstly read the questions. the questions and read the options, so that you can know as you are reading the passage, your mind will be focused on what the writer is saying, right? So that when you are reading the passage, you will be able to see the place you are going to pick your option. Do you understand? So let's go and read the option now. Please, if you don't see the question, tell me so that I can zoom it in. So I will try to zoom it in so that you can see the. So the first question here is which of the following is a English type? So we don't need that. So it can be type A. It depends on the type. Those times they normally use JAMB was then, it was paper based test those times. So those times they have to have type A, type B. So that's not what we are doing. So this is the second question. According to the writer, the exciting thing about Spaceship Earth is that A, it has no instruction manual. So look at it though. B, it is not difficult to maintain. C, it is peculiar to other automobiles. D, it is relatively easy to operate. That's our first question. Our second question, the absence of instruction manual in Spaceship Earth has dash. A, it made the operation of the Spaceship Earth difficult. B, forced man to devise other means of traveling. You'll be fast while reading your option. You tell me the time is running very, very fast and you need to be very, very fast. So forced man to devise other means of traveling in spacecraft. Option C, challenge man's inquisitiveness. Inquisitiveness. So option D, he made man helpless. Now number 4, from the passage it can be deduced that option A, man learns by experiment and education. B, learns by chance and accidentally. C, is capable of solving all his problems. D, by his nature is in constant search of knowledge. Number 5, the writer's mood in this passage is that of, you can see now they ask about mood of the writer. So that's why I said we have mood of writer, things like that. So they said, is the mood non-committal? Is it pessimism, that is not hopeful? Is it optimism? Is it frustration, that is the writer frustrated? So let's now read the passage now. So please, I want you to give me your attention. So if you have the past question for Utme in your hand, you can read it. You can bring it out so that we can read together. Because you may not be able to. Okay, let me just zoom it like that. So the first thing here is, one of the interesting things to me about spaceship is that it is a mechanical vehicle, just as an automobile. If you own a car, you realize that you must put oil and gas into it, and you must put water in the radiator, and take care of the car as a whole. So this is a car, not gear. So as a whole, so you begin to develop quite a little thermodynamic sense. You know that you are going to have to keep the machine in a good order, or it is going to be in trouble and fail to function. So we have not been seeing our Spaceship Earth as an integrally designed machine, which to be persistently successful must be comprehended and serviced in total. Now, there is one outstanding important fact regarding Spaceship Earth, and this is that no instruction book came with it. I think it is very significant that there is no instruction book. We successfully operating of our ship in view of the infinite attention to all other details displayed by our ship. It must be taken as deliberate and purposeful that an instruction book was omitted. Lack of instruction has forced us to find out that there are two kinds of mangoes: unripe mangoes that will kill us, and ripe mangoes which will nourish us. And we had to find out ways of telling which was which mangoes before we ate it, or otherwise we would die. So we were forced because of this to devise scientific experimental procedures and to interpret effectively the significance of the experimental findings. Thus, because the instruction manual was missing, We are learning how we can safely survive on this planet. Quite clearly, all living beings are utterly helpless at the moment of birth. The human child stays helpless longer than the young of any species. So apparently, it is part of invention that man is meant to utterly helpless through certain anthropological phases. When he begins to be able to get on a little better, he is meant to discover some of the physical principles inherent in the universe as well as the many recurses around them, which will further multiply his knowledge. Designed into this spaceship Earth, Earth total wealth was a big safety factor. This allowed man to be very ignorant for a long time until he had amassed enough experience from which to extract progressively in the system of generalized principles governing increase of energy. The design or mission of the instruction book forced man to discover retrospectively just what is most important capabilities are. He learned to generalize fundamental principles of universe. So we are done with the passage. So let's look at the question. According to the writer, the exciting thing about spaceship Earth is that what? A. It has no instruction manual. B. It is not difficult to maintain. It's peculiar to other automobiles. It's relatively easy to operate. So what's the answer? Drop it in the comment section. Let me know. Oh yeah. Let me see your answer in the comment section. Where I want to see your answer. Ultimately, it's peculiar to other. So the answer is it has no instruction manual. You can see we talk about that in the passage. If you can still remember that we talk about it, that it has no what instruction manual. So you can see. So the book was omitted. So lack of institution. So as was so this one is talking to us that it has no what instruction manual. So number 3, the absence of instruction manual. You can see they still say the answer here. So that's why you have to be very careful at times. So the absence of instruction manual in spaceship Earth. So according to the writer, they say exciting thing about, so it has been said already. Okay, number 3, the absence of instruction manual in spaceship Earth has made the operation of the spaceship Earth difficult. Option A. Option B, forced man to devise other means of traveling in spacecraft. C, challenged man's inquisitiveness. D, made man helpless. So what's the answer? So the answer is, what's the answer? Drop it in the comment section. So I was trying to pronounce one word before here in the passage. So you should know it that is what. I was trying to pronounce one word, if you remember, that the word wants to remove my teeth. So inquisitiveness. So the reason the heart does not have a manual, so it's challenged us to make more research because the heart has no what instruction manual. So this one enables us as human beings to want to explore, to want to experiment or invent things and learn new things. So the answer is what? Inquisitiveness. So that's the answer. I'm trying to look for where I saw the word that I couldn't pronounce it very well. I think it's here. Oh, where is it though? Inquisitiveness. I couldn't see the word again. Oh my gosh. I couldn't find the word again. I think it's there. Okay, regardless, if I can't see it again, it means I will have to just. I don't even know where I saw it again. Okay, I think it's in the question that I saw it. So you can see the answer is challenge man's inquisitiveness. So that's the answer. So number 7, that is human beings want to explore because the heart does not have what and also when you are reading passage, there's something you need to know, that if the passage is saying 2 plus 2 is 22, you need to agree. Do you understand? So don't go and bring your own opinion to passage. You must follow what this passage is saying. If the passage says there is no God, which is wrong, you have to what? Follow it. Do you get what I'm saying? Though it's not that you are compromising, but I just use that as an example. If the passage says human beings, they have 10 legs, you have to agree. So you have to follow. Don't take your own suggestions into passage. If the passage says 100, we have just 2 people in Nigeria, you need to agree. Do you get what I'm saying? So don't bring your own opinion to passage. So number 4, from the passage it can be deduced that man A learns by experiment and education, B learns by chance and accidentally, C is incapable of solving all these problems, D by his nature is in constant search of knowledge. What's the answer? So what is the answer? Number 4. So if you don't know it, you can quickly go back to the passage and look at it. That how do we learn? I think when we are talking about mango here, we talked about it that. So you can see now. So lack of instruction has forced us all to find out that there are 2 kinds of mangoes: unripe mangoes, the ones that we eat. So and we had to find out ways of telling which was which mangoes before we ate it, or we ate. So we are forced, because of this, to devise scientific experimental procedures and to interpret effectively the significance of the experimental findings. Thus, because the instruction manual was missing, we are learning how we can safely survive on the planet. Quite clearly, all living beings are utterly helpless at the moment of what? Birth. So human child stays helpless longer than the young of any species. So apparently, it is part of invention that man is meant to be utterly helpless through certain anthropological phases. When he begins to be able to get on a little better, he is meant to discover some of the physical principles inherent in the universe, as well as many resources around him, which will further multiply his knowledge. Do you see it now? That if you look at it very well, what they are saying here is it has to do with we are learning by chance and accidentally, not really by experiment and deduction. So you can see every statement here is telling us that we learn by chance. That is, we are forced to learn by chance and by chance and accidentally, because we have to know it. So design into spaceship our total wealth was a big safety factor. This allowed man to be ignorant for a long time until he had amassed enough experiments from which to extract progressively the system of generalized principles concerning governing increase of energy. The design or mission of this instruction book forced man to discover retrospectively just what his most important capabilities are. He learned to generalize fundamental principles of universe. So the answer is we learn by chance and accidentally. You may want to go and choose experiment and education, but the answer is you learn. But that's why passage at times it can be a little bit confusing. So look at this now. They say, what is the writer's mood in this passage? Is it non-committal? Is it pessimism? Is it frustration? Is it optimism? Is it frustration? What's the answer? So the answer is if you look at the writer, the way he was talking, he was kind of hopeful that the world is going to learn more, right? So the writer is what? Optimistic. So the opposite of optimistic is pessimist. So pessimist means hopeless. If I say someone is pessimist is like, maybe I told the person he can get 300 and he said in Utme, and he said no, I cannot have it. That means that person is a pessimist. He didn't believe that he can have it. So let's go to the passage 2, and don't forget the logic I told you. Go and firstly read the question. So we have 3 passages we want to read today, so we have no time to waste. So the second passage, this is it. So let's read the question. Let me try to zoom it in. The expression stress is an issue everybody can relate to experimentally means that it is better understood when experienced. B. Its problem can be solved by everybody. C. Everybody avoids it. D. Everybody encounters it. Can you see now? When you read this option, it will prepare your mind so that when you are reading the passage, your mind will be fit that what are you looking for. So this is why reading of question is good. So number 7, which of the following is true according to the passage? Stress is mostly caused by internal factors. Stress can only be avoided during relaxation. Stress is better handled by the individual. The issues of stress can be solved with no effort. Number 8, according to the passage, the major step in controlling stress is changing one's attitude to stressors, understanding the history of disease, visiting family doctors for checkup and treatment, constant exercise to dissipate every energy. The experts feel one can control one's stress because its causes are understandable. It is not difficult to control. External factors contribute less stress. It is individually initiated. So from the passage, it can be deduced that stress is hormonal disorder in the body, individually induced problems. C. Bodily reactions to internal factors. D. Body reactions to external factors. So what is the answer? So I think we still have question 11 there. So I think that's just all. So I think that's just it, by the way. So let's read the passage now. So this is the passage. So stress is by far the most common cause of ill health in our society, and may be the underlying cause of as many as 70 to 80% of all visits to family doctors. It is also the problem that every doctor shares with patients. So experts note that stress is an issue everyone can relate to experimentally. In studying and better understanding about stress, we can derive personal as well as professional benefits. Stress can be overcome without undergoing duress. They often say anyone who wants to help someone deal with his or her stress should learn to handle his or her first. That is, if you want to help someone to handle his stress, you yourself, you need to handle someone else's stress. The manifestations of stress are legion. It can contribute to or mimic just about any symptom you can think of. However, the main symptoms are physical, mental, emotional, and behavioral. The causes of stress are simple and varied, but they can be classified into external and internal. External stressors can include relatively getting sick or dying, jobs being lost, or people criticizing or one becoming angry. However, most of the stress people experience is self-generated. Experts, can you see now? I think we are seeing some of the answers already. So experts tell us that we create the majority of our upsets, indicating that because we cause most of our own stress, we can do something about it. This gives us a measure of choice and control that we do not always have when outside forces act on us. This also leads to a basic premise about stress reduction. So to master stress change, you have to figure out what you are doing that is contributing to your problem and change it. These changes fall into behavior, thinking, lifestyle choices, and or situations you are in. By getting to the root cause of your stress, you can prevent recurrences. As a way of draining off stress energy, nothing beats aerobic exercise. To understand why, we need to review what stress is. People often think of stress as pressure at work, a demanding boss, or a sick child, or rush hour traffic. This may be triggers but stress is actually the body reaction to factors such as this. Stress is the fight or flight response in the body, mediated by adrenaline and other stress hormones, and comprise such physiologic changes as increased in heart rate, and blood pressure, faster breathing, muscle tension, dilated pupils, dry mouth, and increased blood sugar. In other words, stress is a state of increased arousal necessary for an organism to defend itself at a time of danger. Exercise is the most logical way to dissipate the excess energy. It is what our bodies are trying to do when we pace around or tap our legs and fingers. It is much better to channel it into a more complete form of exercise, like a brisk walk, a run, a bike ride, or a game of squash. Just as we are all capable of mounting up and sustaining a stress reaction, we have also inherited this ability to put our bodies into a state of deep relaxation called the relaxation response. So in this state, all the physiologic events in the stress reaction are reversed. Pulse slows, blood pressure falls, breathing slows, and muscles relax. So we are done with this. The expression stress is an issue everybody can relate to. Experimentally means that option A, it is better understood when experienced. Option B, its problem can be solved by everybody. C, everybody avoids it. D, everybody encounters it. So what's the answer here? I'm looking for your answer. I'm waiting for you. So what's the answer? Is it that everybody experiences it? Or what? So the answer is everybody, its problem can be solved by everybody. So that's why it said in the statement here that you that will help someone to solve the stress, you yourselves you have to what? So you have to, you can see here, they often say anyone who wants to help someone deal with his or her stress should learn to handle his or her stress. So it means everybody can, the problem can be solved by everybody. So which of the following is true according to the passage? Stress is mostly caused by internal factors. Stress can only be avoided during relaxation. Stress is better handled by the individual. The issue of stress can be solved with no effort. So what's the answer here? So what's the answer according to the passage? So drop it in the comment section. I want to see your comments. Let me check whether you're still there or you have left me with the live class. So what's the answer? I'm expecting your. Please, you guys are not commenting. I don't like this. So. You said the word is not in the passage. Which word is that? I'm not seeing your comment too. Despite everything I said, the population tonight is still not so much. It's too small. Just 5 people. Guys, you need to change you. Eh? After everything I said, only 5 people is around. Okay? So what's the answer? So the answer is stress is better handled by the individual. So we talked about this in the passage. So the answer is stress is better. So according to the passage, the major step in controlling stress is, what is that? So number 1, the A, changing one's attitude to stressors, understanding the history of disease, visiting family doctors for checkup and treatment, D, constant exercise to dissipate every energy. So what's the answer? The answer is, we talked about exercise. So exercise is what help us to conquer it. Now the last one, I think we have two more questions. Okay, so the experts feel one can control one's stress because its causes are understandable. It is not difficult to control. External factors contribute less stress. It is individually initiated. If you look at that C and D, they look a little bit equal. But let us look at it. So we said each person is the one contribute the most to the stress. So what can we now say is the answer here? So what is the answer here? The answer is it is individually initiated. So because we read it in the passage here, I think you guys are getting what we are doing. So or am I doing magic? So I hope you get what I'm saying. So the passage clearly says is that we are the one that contributes to most of the stress. So you can see. Can you see it now? You can see. Can you see in their passage now? Experts tell us that we create the majority of our upsets, indicating that because we cause most of our own stress. So this is the answer. Do you see now? So you have to know how to answer passage. So passage is simple, just that you have to just know how it works. Number 10, from the passage, it can be deduced that stress is A, hormonal disorder in the body system, B, individually induced problems, C, bodily reaction to internal factors, D, bodily reactions to external factors. So what is the answer? Is it hormonal disorder? Is it individual induced problems? Is it body reaction to internal factors? Is it body reaction? So if what's the answer? Drop it in the comment section. I want to see your answer. Oh, yeah. I'm waiting for your answer. So I'm not seeing your option. Gideon, I know you are online. I'm not seeing your option. You are supposed to drop your options. Please, I can see your comment. You are not dropping your comment, your answer. So you don't stay in this live session without contributing anything. Gideon, you are not dropping your option. So please, you are not dropping your option. I'm waiting for you to do the needful. You have a lot to do today. We have almost used like 30 minutes. I don't want to delay you guys. Yeah, what is the answer? Hey, you are now talking. So you said B. The answer is not B. I will tell you the reason why. Look at it. In the passage, we said, you can see, what did they say here? They say that this may be triggers, this may be the triggers, but stress is actually the body reaction such as this. Stress is, look at it, the fight or flight response in the body mediated adrenaline and other stress hormones. So it is caused by hormones. So that's what we are asking us here. So the answer is hormones. So that's the answer. So the answer is what? The stress is what is hormonal disorder in the body system. Not, we are talking about individually initiated here. So they are very wise. They will not go and say it is still the same thing here. So we are going to another passage now. So don't forget the law I taught you. Go and read the option, the question first. So the first question says, according to the writer, corruption is triggered off by what? A, unnecessary influence. B, selfish interest. C, private officials. D, public officers. Number 12, from the passage, one of the consequences of corruption is that, what is the consequence? Is that large projects are executed. It is beneficial to wealth people or who store public wealth. C, it impedes the progress of a nation. People get what they want with so much money to spend. Number 13, who, according to the writer, should prevent corruption? A, lawyers and police. B, corrupt public officers. D, the government and the people. Which of the following is an indication of ethical standard of governance? A, fundamental human rights. B, socio-economic instability. C, democratic governance. D, bloated expenditure. Number 15, the essence of fighting corruption according to passage is to what? Is to A, send the corrupt to hell or whatever. A, promote good governance, punish corrupt politicians, make people richer. So let's read the passage now. So we have like 4 passages. Wow. Okay, the fourth one is actually register. It is register we'll be doing after. I was very shocked that how are we going to be doing so this is what I call register. To be filling the gap. Do you get? So this is register. So I was very shocked before. I thought it was three register we'll be doing, 3 passage. So let's start reading the passage now. So passage 3, there are many indicators with which to assess. Please, I want you to follow me. Make sure your mind is here. That's what passage in it. You have to concentrate for you to understand it. So there are many indicators with which to assess or measure corruption. One of them is the affluent living habits of the public official compared to his or her income. Corruption occurs when a public official expects to be induced to perform an act which that public official is ordinarily required to do by law. Corruption can slow down development. Can you see now? Can slow down development. So one of the most widely discussed consequences of corruption is the distortion of governmental expenditure. This often results in public money being wasted on white elephant project. That's a project that was not worth it. For example, now say you build a bungalow for 100 million, something that is not more than 20 million, and you say it. So that's white elephant project. Rather than people oriented services such as health and education, as a result, one opportunities are presented for corrupt use or diversion of funds. Ethical standard of governance can lead to many benefits, especially for the economic, political, and social development. Wait, hope I've not jumped any place. Okay. So ethical standard of governance can lead to many benefits, especially for the economic, political, and social development of the country. Fighting corruption and promoting governance is therefore crucial to developing an environment that facilitates social, political, and economic development of the people. However, while there are often general statements made about the effects of corruption on poverty and development, there is not an explicit recognition that corruption is more than just wealth misappropriation or abuse of power. Corruption impoverishes countries and deprives their citizens of good governance. It destabilizes economic systems. When crime and other illegal activities flourish, basic public functions are eroded and the quality of life of the people is reduced. Can you see now? Bribery, for example, is universally regarded as a crime, but it also reflects socio-economic problems that require broad-based preventive measures and the involvement of the society at large. Another implication of global measures against corruption in making government work better by improving the economy. Finally, redesigning political and regulatory structures will reduce corruption and other anti-system players that encourage corrupt practice. So this last statement, please try to digest it. According to the writer, corruption is triggered off by what? What's the answer? You'll be able to know the answer here. So what's the answer? Is it unnecessary affluence? Is it public officers? Is it private officials? Or is it a selfish interest? So the answer is actually selfish interest, not public officials or public officers. So it can be passage at times. When you are seeing the answer so clearly at times, you may think that will be your answer, but some of the time it may not be. So that's why you have to be very careful. The answer is what? Selfish interest. So because everything you see in the passage, you see them talking about, look at it. The way you are talking about it, you would have known that you can see. So corruption can slow. So one of the things they are saying is, corruption occurs when the public expects to be induced. So which that is ordinarily required to do in law. So you can see living habits of public official compared to his or her income. So it's selfish. The person is using the money for himself. So it's actually selfish interest. So from the passage, one of the consequences of corruption is that large projects are executed. It is beneficial to wealthy people who stole public wealth. C, it impedes the progress of the nation. People get what they want with so much money to spend. So what's the answer? So the answer is that it impedes the progress of a nation. So that's the answer. So number 13, who according to the writer should prevent corruption? The answer is, what's the answer? Is it lawyers and police? Is it the corrupt public officers? Is it the government? Is it the people? So what's the answer? I think I marked something in the last something here. So what do you think would be the answer? So the answer is the government. That's the answer. The government. They are the one that will prevent the corruption according to the passage. So number 14, which of the following is an indication of ethical standard of governance? A, fundamental human rights, socioeconomic instability. D, democratic governance. D, bloated expenditure. What's the answer? You look at the passage. They talk about socio-economic. So you can see. Can you see? They are talking about it. So they talk about it. So answer is socio-economic instability. That's the answer. Now another one is the essence of fighting corruption according to the passage is what? What's the essence of fighting corruption? So the essence of fighting corruption according to the passage is to what? Option A, send the corrupt to hell or whatever, or God or whatever. B, promote good governance. C, punish corrupt politicians. D, make people richer. So the answer is to promote good governance according to the passage. Now we are now done with what passage. So by now I've taught you guys passage now. So don't tell me I do not taught you passage. So I've taught you passage. So the next one I want to teach you now is register. So register, once I do this one too, I've taught you like that. You understand? So don't say I did not teach you passage. So I've taught you like that. So by the end of today's video, I will know that I'm done with physics syllabus once English syllabus like that. So I'm done with it like that. Please, I'm not seeing your comment. Oh. Okay, I can see now. Be dropping the number you are answering. Okay, let's do register. So register also, what is the trick for register? Register is that's why as a student you have to be reading good things. So register, if you want to know register very well, try to know some languages that you use in some places. For example, now in agriculture there are some words you use in agriculture. In literature there are some words they use in courts. There are some words they use in medicine. Now there's a words they use there. There are words they use in engineering. There are words they use in architects. There are words they use in construction, right? So there are words they use in virtually even in aircraft, all those aeroplane, in all those airports, they have words they use. So you have to be conversant with all the terms. That's what are the terms they use in medicine, what are the terms they use in agriculture. So I cannot teach you every register. So I'm just using this as an example, and I want you to have a clue about it. So can you still hear me? Please drop it in comment section, because I just touched my microphone now, and I don't know if it has disconnected. So can you still hear me? Let me know in the comment section. Can you hear me? So I cannot teach you every register. So I can just teach you just one segment. So once you see it, so I want to see it. Can you hear me again? So now in register now, I will also advise you that you go through you firstly skim through it. Please, this thing is not that you will take all the time reading the question. You do it as fast as possible. Do you get what I'm saying? It's not that you'll be reading it the way I'm reading it. You'll be very, very fast. Do you get? So you must be very, very fast. So let's quickly read through. So drought is a word that involves strong emotion. This is not surprising, as the dash is usually accompanied by a number of unpleasant developments. These developments are dash for all citizens, starting from the peasant farmers to the states and federal government, which may be plunged into emergency and crisis situation, which, if not successfully dash, could result in social unrest. The timeliness of the onset of the rains in various regions of the country and their adequate distribution thereafter have become dash of considerable anxiety to all people. The fact, however, is that periodic reduction in normal dash of rainfall in the country is not new. Since large areas of the country are drought prone, the consequences are dash. Dry spells could be very severe. There are two aspects of coping with drought. One has to do with emergency measures and the other with dash measures. An immediate consequence of any drought will be famine. In addition, where all populations are forced to abandon their lands or pastures in search of food, there are bound to be other lasting and dash consequences such as distress, sales of cattle by livestock owners in order to buy food. Government should provide farmers with agricultural inputs and ensure that they have easy access to these inputs under the relief dash. Emergency measures will be much more dash if a mechanism is established to ensure adequate preparedness and defense against the occurrence of drought. So that's that for the register now. Now, in my own time, I just don't know. I think God just loved me those times. The passage I saw those times was the passage on COVID-19. So it was, COVID-19 was something that was very familiar those times. So they did not say it categorically that it was COVID-19, but it was like they talk about the pandemic, the epidemic. So it was something I was able to relate with. Do you understand? So you just that's why at times you have to pray that God should help you. That's why you have to put the God factor into consideration. So, and also my register also, they asked me a register on festival. You know that festival is something that is a little bit familiar, right? So it was something I was able to relate with. And also the passage was on the pandemic, the COVID-19. I wrote my UTME 2022. So it was not so far from the time of COVID-19. So COVID-19 was COVID-19 or 2020, yeah. But I don't even know why they even asked me COVID-19, something that's concerning epidemic in 2022. So all I can say, what I can just say is that God really helped me. So, and also you have to be conversant to some things, you have to read novels, read things and that. So okay, let's do the register now since we have gone through it. Now, if you look at this register, it has to do with drought. Drought, right? What's the meaning of drought as an agricultural student? Drought is actually absence of rainfall. So these are the things that causes desert encroachment. That is, you see some places that become deserts. So what causes it is what? In droughts. So drought is when there is absence of rainfall for a long time. So drought is a word that invokes strong emotions. This is not surprising, as the dash is usually accompanied by a number of unpleasant development. What is it? Ideology? Is it phenomenon? Is it idea? Is it component? So drop it in the comment section. I want to see your answers. So what is the answer? So the answer is phenomenon, because drought is actually, I can say drought is a phenomenon in which there is absence of rainfall. So it's actually a phenomenon. So because the question is actually a closed test in the form of a collocation. So ideology is a political, when we're talking of ideology, the reason why I did not choose ideology is because ideology has to do with a political belief or philosophy. But phenomenon is a state of affairs which is important in human affairs. So that is phenomenon. Why component is an aspect of a whole thing which makes that thing complete. So that's component. So this is not surprising, as the phenomenon is usually accompanied by a number of unpleasant developments. These developments have dash. Is it feedback? Is it results? Is it implications? Is it outcomes? So what's the answer? For all citizens, starting from the peasant farmers to the state and federal. So what's the answer? So the answer is feedback. Why is this feedback? Because feedback is the response to a question. So what did they say there? They said so it's virtually, so this development, they have what? Feedback, that is for all citizens, that is, it has response to the question citizens they are asking, right? So feedback is the response to a question. Why outcomes is a technical word for expected results during a process. What of implications? What's the meaning of implication? Implication actually means the consequences of an action. For example, now, if you are not attending class now in the tutorial, I will say, do you know the implications of your action? That is, do you know that if you don't read for UTM, you will fail? Do you know that if you don't attend live classes, it's not good for you? So those are the things that, do you know the implications? So implication means, do you know the consequences of an action? So for this one, feedback, because feedback is like the answer to a question or response to a question. So for all citizens, starting from the peasant farmer to the state and federal, government, which may be plunged into an emergency and crisis situation, which if not successfully dash, what is the answer? Is it managed? Is it examined? Is it studied? Or what do you think is the answer? So this one is option B here is manipulated. Let's say B is, this one is manipulated. So manipulated is there. So what's the answer? Is it managed? For example, now you are a doctor and the patient comes to you and said he had cancer. So what do you tell the patient? You say you will have to be managing it. Maybe let me say the disease the patient have does not have disease, maybe HIV now. But you will tell the person that the person can manage that disease. So the answer is, if not successfully managed, so could result in social unrest. So a crisis situation can be handled, right? Can be managed. That is, you handle it in a proper way. Why manipulate? What's the meaning of manipulate? Manipulate means to use unjust means to achieve desired ends. by making right wrong and making wrong right. For example, now you want a girl to marry you, and you're trying to manipulate the girl by buying the person's gifts, buying him data, buying the person. So it means you are what? You are manipulating the girl. Maybe it's because you want to have bad thing with the person. It's not that you want to even marry him, you just want to destroy the girl's life. So it means you are what? You are manipulating. So we cannot use manipulating for this. So the answer is what? So what examine? You, most of you know what we mean by examine. Examine means you, maybe a person is having a cancer and you want to, you remove the a particular part of the breast and you examine it. So things like that, or you carry some things on it and you study. So study is something most of you are already know. So now the timeliness of the onset of the rains in various regions of the country and their adequate distribution thereafter have become dash of considerable anxiety to all people. So what's the answer here? I want to see your answer in the comment section. So what is the answer? Can you hear me? Pete said you can't hear me. She can't hear me. Okay, alright. So, okay, Gideon, you actually get it. The answer is subject. So, for example, now, the way, if I want to talk to you about this, so I said, your seriousness in the tutorial is subject of discussion. So, subject is the answer, not object or topic. So, the answer is subject, not topic. So subject of considerable anxiety to all people. So the fact, however, is that periodic reduction in normal. Now, if you want to talk of rainfall, are you going to say supply? Are you going to say size? Or you are going to say flood or amount? So what's the answer? So the answer is you say amount of rainfall, not flood. So of rainfall in the country is not new. So since land areas of the country are drought prone, that is, if you look at some northern parts of Nigeria, they are already desert. That is, they have absence of rainfall, a very low amount of rainfall. So So since large areas of the country are drought prone, that is, they are prone to droughts. So the consequences are A, effective, disastrous, evident, and inevitable. What's the answer? The answer is the consequence is disastrous, that it is harmful. It's a disaster. So disaster, the word disastrous is from the word disastrous. So disaster has to do with all those earthquake, flood, things like that. So that's what's disastrous. So what else again? So dry spells could be very severe. Here are two aspects of coping with droughts. So we have two aspects of coping with droughts. So number one, it has to do with emergency measures, and the other with A, routine, organized, urgent, delayed measures. So what's the answer? Is it routine? Is it organized? He said the first one is emergency measures. What was the second? So the second is routine measure. So an immediate consequence of any drought will be famine. That is, famine means there is lack of food and a lot of things. So in addition, where whole population are forced to abandon their lands or pasture in search of food, there are bound to be other lasting and dash. What's the answer? Is it longitudinal, objective, simultaneous, parallel consequences such as distress, sales of cattle by livestock owners in order to buy food? What's the answer? Is it longitudinal? So the answer is what? Longitudinal. So that's the answer. The answer is what? Longitudinal. So longitudinal. So that is when we are talking of lasting. So lasting. So when we are talking of, so here lasting is to help choose the answer. Since and is a coordinating conjunction coming after lasting. So lasting that you have here, it helps you to know the answer that we choose. So you have a coordinating conjunction here. So coming after lasting. So it means a word synonymous with lasting should be chosen. So the word lasting here, it joins with a coordinating conjunction here. So it means the word that will be coming after lasting or this and must be something that is synonymous with lasting. And what is synonymous with lasting? That is what? Longitudinal. So longitudinal means something that is happening over a long period. So something, you know that lasting also, if I say that food will last, it means it will take a lot of time. While longitudinal also means the same thing. So that's why we choose longitudinal. That's something that is what? That is happening for over a long period. While simultaneous means when two things are happening at the same time. So that's why we say simultaneous equation. You're looking for two unknown at the same time. So we also have parallel. What's the meaning of parallel? Something that is similar. So such consequences such as distress, sales of cattle by livestock owners in order to buy food. So government should provide farmers with agricultural inputs and ensures that they have easy access to these inputs under the relief words. Is it relief action, relief process, relief scheme, or relief plan? What's the answer? So the answer is relief plan. So why is this relief plan? So a suitable collocation for relief is what? Plan. So the word that is very, very adequate for relief is what? Plan. So why program? It attracts what? Actions. So program it what? It attracts action. So that doesn't mean we have program here under the program. So under this place we have program. Our answer would have been action, right? That doesn't mean we have activity. So activity is going to attract what? Process. That doesn't mean we have activity here. It will be activity process. So why that of scheme? If you notice, if you are a kind of person that you go to government school, you see some of the building that they write something like scheme. So scheme, it has to do with something that has to do with education. So it has to do with educational, it has to do with economical, and it has to do with a financial thing. So financial scheme, so educational scheme, so economical scheme, so things like that. That's how they go. Now the last one, the emergency measures will be much more dash if a mechanism is established to whatever. So what's the answer? So effective. So it will be effective. So if a mechanism is established to ensure adequate preparedness and defense against the occurrence of droughts. So we are done with register now. Now we are not going to so we have done like 20 questions now out of 100 questions that we want to solve. So if you want to be crying that you have spent a lot of time, I know most of you have left the class already, but no worry. Don't worry, you. Most of you have left the class already. I'm checking the number of people online. I'm checking. So it's remain only 2 people online now. So I know. I know whether you are in the class. I know. So it's remain only 2 people. So okay. So let's go to another aspect of the class now. And which aspect is that? The aspect of English. This one is interpretation. And I've taught you guys how to answer questions on interpretation. Interpretation is like idioms, all those phrasal verbs. So those are what? Those are the sentence interpretation. So we have idioms, we have phrasal verbs, we have proverbs, and so on and so forth. So this one now, so we're now in the sentence interpretation. So now I've told you, if you see a particular question in sentence interpretation and your answer is, and they are saying something that is similar to the question in the option, so it means most of the times it will not be the same thing. So look at it now. Though Mr. Iro is our new chairman, he views other member with jaundice eye. So what's the meaning of jaundice eye? That's the main thing here. So this is like idiom. So option A, he takes a rather forceful position on dealing with his member. B, he takes an unfavorable position concerning his members. C, he takes a sickly view of his members. D, he takes a hazy view of his members. What's the answer? So what's the meaning of jaundice view? Jaundice view. So what's the meaning of jaundice view? So I will write the meaning now. So this is how I'll be teaching you this aspect. So jaundice view, jaundice eye. Jaundice eye. So to take something as jaundice view of a person, it means that you what? Is to be envious. That is, you envy someone. So it's to be envious, angry, or unfavorable in one actions to the person. So that is what? That is jaundice. So we are done with that now. So the answer here is what? He takes an unfavorable position concerning his members. So that's the answer. So that's the meaning of jaundice eye. So you can see that it's very technical, and it's 5 questions they will ask you for every sentence calculation. Every year it will come out. Peoples are not interested in those in who rules. A, what's the meaning? A, people are not ruled by the leaders they want. Is that the meaning? B, people are not concerned about who rules them. C, the rulers are not concerned about the people. D, people who rule are not interested in the ruled. Who are the ruled? The people are the one that they are being ruled. So what's the answer here? What's the answer? So if you have something like which, what, who, how, when, or any other time adverbs in constructions like this, it means concerned. One is not concerned or bothered about something. So that's what it means. So people are not interested in who rules. So whenever you see words like who, another words like who, whenever you see the word who, which, what, when, and how, and other time adverbs in construction like this, so it means concerned. That is, people are not concerned. So people are not interested in who rules means people are not concerned about who rules them. So that's the answer. You can see that one is actually a little bit direct. So that's option B. So let's go to number 28. It was good to steer a middle course in whatever one does. It was good to steer a middle course in whatever one does. A, it is always good to get midway in anything one does. B. It is always good to act with moderation. C. It is always good to move away from the forefront. D. It is always good to work very hard. So what's the answer here? That is, you steer in middle course. So what's the meaning of steering in middle course? So to steer in middle course, so I want to tell you the meaning. So please bring out your note. If you have not been writing, bring out your note and jot down those. There are some of the times they will repeat question, life and direct. So, and this interpretation I told you, it will come out every year. So it's 5 questions they will ask. Passage 5 questions. Register can be like 10 questions. And the novel that you are reading, they can have, if you are lucky, they may have like 10 or 8 or 5. So it depends. Even some people they will say only 2. So it depends. It depends on your luck. And by the way, how is the novel? I hope you guys are enjoying the novel. Some people are complaining about the novel. So don't worry. Just make sure you read it very well. Read it like 3 times or 4 times. So read it like 3 times or 4 times or 5 times or 6 times. So please read it though. Don't English is one of the subjects most students don't pass very well. So what's the meaning of to stay a middle course? So to stay a middle course means to mean to be what? To be non-committal. Please bring out your pen and write to be non-committal. To be neutral. That's mean to what? To stay a middle course. Another one is what? To sit on the fence. To sit on the fence means to be neutral. For example, now we are discussing about, we are talking in the group. You see some of your people, they will not talk in the class. Why? They are neutral. They are sitting on the fence. But if I tell you, Evans, concerning this matter, no one is sitting on the fence. All of you, should we increase the tutorial fee? You see some of you, they will not talk. They are neutral. Should we make the tutorial fee 1 million per month? They will be neutral. So some people will talk, some people will not talk. So people that are neutral means, the idiom for neutral is that you are sitting on the fence. But if I say, concerning this matter, everyone must participate, everyone must share their opinion or hear their opinion, hear their opinion, hear their opinion, hear. So I think they ask it when you tell me that, hear like that. So hear their opinion. So we have people that will sit on the fence. Sit on the fence means that person is neutral. That person is indifference. So neutral, indifference, they are all together. So neutral, so do not, so another one is to be what? To be careful. To be careful. So another thing is that do not be the first nor the last. That is people that want to be average in the class, that they don't want to be so rich, but they want to be, actually I want to be rich. I don't want to have money that will be able to cater for me and my family. That's what stay a middle class. So another thing is that what? To practice temperance. What is the meaning of temperance? Self-control. That is, you are so moderate in your spending. When people are spending 1 million for 10 million for weddings, you are moderate. You say, let me just spend 50k for wedding or 500,000 for wedding. So you are what? Temperance. What is the meaning of temperance? Self-control. That is, you act in moderation. So that's moderation. So to stay a middle course means you are moderate. You are not doing more than yourself. So the answer is what? It is always good to act with moderation. So you can see now. That's the answer. You can see they say it's always good to get midway in it. That's wrong. Although it looks like the answer, but it's wrong. You can see mid is option is the option. So they will, more of the time they want to put. I told you when the question is saying the thing, and the question is saying the option is saying the same thing. Most of the time it will not be the answer. So we are done with that. Okay, we have another question. The witness said he had no axe to grind with his brother. What is the meaning of axe to grind with his brother? What is the meaning? Option A, he had no hatred for the brothers. B, he had no axe and therefore stole the magic. You can know that this is already not wrong. Is wrong. C. He had no axe and therefore borrowed their machetes. D. He had no vested interest in the brother. So what's the answer? So when they say someone has a axe to grind, so to have axe to grind means, let me try to explain now. So to have to have axe or have no axe to grind with. It's not that that person does not have axe. So what it means is that you have what? So it means having misgivings. So if you have hatred for something, so hatred, it also means hatred. So these are idioms. So hatred for arguments. For arguments. What else again? To make with. So it also means, so, or quarrel, when you have quarrel with someone, to pick up with someone. So for example, now if I say I have asked to grind with some of you that are not attending class, though I don't say I'm just using that for an example. So if I say I have asked to grind for them, I have no asked to grind, it means I don't have any hatred for you. But if I say I had asked to grind, it means we are fighting. So that's what it means. But if I say I have no axe to grind, it means, so the person here said he had no axe to grind with his brother. So it means the person has no hatred for brother. So that's the answer. So that's, you can see that this interpretation is simple. Just know the meaning. So number 30. The footballers moved with their tails between their legs. So what's the answer? You can see that this is a pure what? It's a pure idioms. So what's the meaning? What's the meaning of that statement? The footballer moved with their what? They moved with their tails between their legs. So what's the meaning of that statement? What's the meaning of that statement? A. They moved happily because they won the match. B. They were unhappy because they had been despised by their components. C. They were ashamed because they have been defeated. D. They moved with their tails between their. You can see option D can never be the answer because it was saying exactly what is in the question. So let's. What's the meaning of to move? To have one's tail. So to have one's tails. To have one's tail between one's leg. So what's the meaning of that? So that one is what? It means with fear, moving with fear. So moving what? Cowardly. So that is, you are afraid. That is, you are very humiliated. That is, you are despised. Maybe they lost that football. They lost that football match, so they feel defeated. They were ashamed. So they were diffident. So they are diffident. What else again? They are unconfident. So to be unconfident in oneself. So that's the meaning of to move. So if you look at it now, it means these players, they lose the match. They lost the match they watched. So the footballers moved with their tails between their legs, means they moved happily. That's wrong. They are not happy. So they were not happy because they have been despised by their opponents. Option C, they were ashamed because they had been defeated. So what's the answer here? What's the answer? So the answer is C. They were ashamed because they had been defeated. If you look at that option B, it looks like the answer, but it's actually not the answer. So that's the thing. So the headmaster managed to talk his way out of having to give speech. The headmaster managed to talk his way out of having to give a speech. A. He delivered a speech despite the difficulty. B. He managed to give a speech out of a difficult situation. C. He managed to get himself out of a difficult situation. D. He managed to talk on his way. So what's the answer? So you can see that one is, this option D is out of this. So what's the meaning of to talk one's way? To talk one's way out of something. So what's the meaning of that? To talk one's way out of something. So what's the meaning of that? Please be writing. So it means to give reasons. So it means to give reasons why one would not like to do that thing. That is, maybe that thing is possibly difficult. So what they are trying to say is that the headmaster, the man did not want to do that thing. So he managed to give a speech out of no. So the answer is he managed to get himself out of a difficult situation. So that's the answer. So number 32. As regards the matter, we have crossed the Rubicon. So what's the meaning of crossing Rubicon? A. We are completely at a loss. B. We are irrevocably committed. C. We are already qualified. So what is the answer? So is it, we are, as regards the matter, we have crossed the Rubicon. A. We are completely at loss. B. We are irrevocably committed. C. We are already qualified. D. We are perfectly committed. So what's the answer here? So what's the meaning of to cross the Rubicon? So what's the meaning? So to cross the Rubicon means, so to cross the Rubicon means, to cross the Rubicon. So what's the meaning of the, so it's an idiomatic expression. So it is an idiomatic expression. So what does it mean? So it means, so meaning to be committed to a decision. So that's the meaning of to cross. So to be committed to a decision. So or to be unwilling to go back on the decision. For example, that's the girl I want to marry. Even if my parents say, we won't allow you, but you say, what? Over this matter, mother, father, I have crossed the Rubicon. I am not saying you should be saying that to your parents. Though. I'm just using this as an example. To cross the Rubicon means you are adamant that this is what I will do. And at the end of the day, maybe you marry the girl and the girl divorce you. That's when you know that you have to listen to your parents at times. I don't say if they want to be, you have to just, let me just leave that for you, Jack. So to cross the Rubicon means to be committed to a decision. That is, you are unwilling to go back. That is, you are adamant toward that. You say you cannot go back. So what's another idiom that you can use for to cross the Rubicon? You can still use the word to burn one's boat. To burn one's boat. So that's another word you can use for. So UTME may use to cross the Rubicon in another exam, or they will use burn one's boat. And you guys, I told you, you will be solving a lot of past questions by now. So what's the answer? We are completely at loss. We are irrevocably committed. We are already qualified. D, we are perfectly committed. So the answer is we are irrevocably committed. That is, we cannot go back. We are bent and we say no, cannot go back. So another number 33. Uche is full of himself. So if I tell you that peace, you are full of yourself, what's the meaning of that? It means you are proud, you are arrogant. So it means to be full of yourself means you are what? You are so full of, to be full of oneself means to be arrogant, to be proud. To be full of oneself. Or if I say Gideon, you are full of yourself. So it means you are what? You are arrogant. I'm just using that as an example. So don't say, so it means to be what? To be egoistic, to have ego. So it was it will have egotistic. So you are proud. So it means you are proud, you are arrogant. So you are pompous. Pompous is another word for arrogance. So pompous. So or you have inflated opinion about oneself, or an have inflated opinion about yourself. That is, you think you are better than everybody. That is, no one is as big as you are. So the answer is conceited. So conceited means you are arrogant. So conceited is another word for arrogance. So conceited. So it means you are what? You are arrogant. So we can still say it also means what? Conceited. You are full of yourself. Uche is full of himself. So number 34. As debutants in that tournament, the Super Eagles were up against their first opponent by 3-0. So they said the Super Eagles, they were up against. Option A, the Super Eagles were playing the tournament. So they ask you to interpret this word. So you can see the opponent asked. Don't let me say the answer. Option A, the Super Eagles were playing the tournament for the first time, but they won their match by 3-0. B, though the Super Eagles were rated as the weakest side in the tournament, they won their first match by 3-0. Number C, even though the Super Eagles were playing without some of their regulars, they won their match by 3-0. D, as the best attackers in the match, the Super Eagles easily defeated their opponent by 3-0. So what's the answer? So what's the meaning of debuts? Those times when I used to play games, when they see someone score a debut goal, for example, now maybe they just buy a player to Chelsea or Man U or any club. So maybe they just bought a player now to all those clubs that football you watch. Maybe I don't watch football. So now the player now scored his first goal. So that's debut. So when there's something of debut has to do with something that you do for the first time. So if that person score, you see the commentator will say that's the debut goal for this particular player. So that's what debut. Do you get it now? So they now say as debutant. So it means these teams, Super Eagles is playing in that tournament for the first time. Maybe it's actually a particular tournament that Super Eagles have not been able to play in that tournament before. So as debutants in that tournament, the Super Eagles were up against their first opponent by 3-0. So what's the answer? Option A, Super Eagles were playing this tournament for the first. Do you get it now? For the first time, but they won their match by 3-0. Option B, though the Super Eagles were rated as the weakest side in the tournament, they won their first match by 3-0. Did they say anything like that in the statement? No. Option C, even though the Super Eagles were playing without some of their regulars, is that what they say in the question? As the best attackers in the match, the Super Eagles is that what they say? So the answer is option A. So when you are talking of debut has to do with something that you do for the so debutants, they do something for the first time. So they do things for the first time. So the answer is option A. So the answer is option A. So we move to number 35. The woman was woeful, that is, was mournful, as her husband was found dead drunk. The woman was mournful, as her husband was found dead drunk. What's the meaning of that? What's the meaning of dead drunk? What's the meaning of dead drunk? So what's the answer? A. She was sad because of her husband was absolutely drunk. B. She was apprehensive that her husband would drink again as soon as he recovered from the drunken stupor. C. She was sad because her husband was drunk and always as helpless as a dead man. D. She was mourning because her husband drank and died. That's wrong. Dead drunk does not mean the husband is dead. It means maybe the husband slept inside gutter. It doesn't mean the husband died. Though the word they use here is kind of confusing. Mournful. That to do with something that but actually is not dead. So dead drunk is. So I'm going to tell you the meaning now. So what's the meaning of to be dead right, dead drunk? So dead. So let me try to explain now. So to be dead right. So if you say someone is dead right, if you say someone is dead drunk. So if they say someone is dead drunk or dead drunk, whatever. So it does not mean someone is dead. So it does not mean one is dead. So it means was really, that is, the man drank, was really drunk, that he was drunk, that the man he passed out really, that you drink that beer to the extent that yes, the man drink that beer, that you drink it really, that people even know that the man drank it, that the way the man was dead drunk, it was so serious. So the man drank it really. The man drank it very well, very. So it is exactly. So all these three, they mean the same thing. So exactly, it also means what? Certainly. That is, the man drank it very, very sure. That the woman was sure that he drank it. Or he drank it to a very high degree. Maybe like he drank like a whole crate of beer. So that is, he drank it. So dead drunk means he drank that beer. That it was very, very obvious that he drank it. So what's the answer? So the answer is option A. She was sad because her husband was absolutely, that is, even anyone that doesn't know that people drink, they will know that this man drank. So she was sad because of her husband who was absolutely drunk. So let's go to the next question. We are seeing number 30 something. So this one now, we are now in opposite in meaning. So I did not teach you guys opposite in meaning, and I did not teach you nearest in meaning. So in this place, I'm going to be teaching you. So once I've done it like this, so I'm done with English. After tonight's class, I know that I'm done with English syllabus like that. So I know I'm done with physics syllabus like that. English syllabus rather. I don't know why I keep saying physics. So opposite in meaning, I need to tell you one trick before we start. And that trick is what we call the positivity and negativity method. So what I call it? Positivity and negativity method. So what we mean by positivity and negativity method is that if you see a word, if you are under positive, if you are under nearest opposite in meaning, so that's antonyms, right? Maybe they'll give you a word like the man is stingy. You know that this word is a negative word, right? Now you are under opposite in meaning. So it means your option should be positive. So that's just positivity and negativity method. So it means when you have stingy in the option, your answer should be maybe the person is generous. Generous means the person used to spend, he used to help people. But stingy is someone that is a little bit that the person is tight fisted. The person is economist, the person is thrifty, the person is economist. So it's miser. So things like that. Stingy, a lot of things like that. The person is tight fitted. So things like that. So positivity and negative method is telling you that, for example, now I think I have a question here. I'm looking for a question for that. If I can't see it, then I'll have to. I think we have to do one question, one aspect. So I don't think I teach you that place, and that's word formation, which is prefix, and then after that, I think I'm done with everything. Okay. I've seen the positivity and negativity method now. Okay, look at this now. The president. So I'm just using this as an example. The president. So it's actually a question in UTME. The president, in his actions, has proved to be sufficiently autocratic. Sufficiently autocratic. What is the meaning of the word autocratic? Option A, selfish. If you look at the word selfish, that's negative. Option B, slack. Is that positive? Is negative too. Option C, I think we are under positive meaning, yes. Option C, that is what? Unimpressive. That's also negative. You see now. Option, even if you don't know the answer some of the times, once you have been able to use this positivity and negativity method, so this is option. This is it. Receptive is actually positive, because receptive means you receive something, you are able to receive something. So even without telling me, even here, you should be able to know that. What do you think the answer will be? Now, what's the meaning of auto? Now, I did not teach you word formation. If I teach you word formation, you would have been able to know this. Okay, what you just have to know is auto means self. That's why we say automatic car. These are the cars that you don't need to work a little bit work, just something that work on its own self, right? So autocratic means something that has to do with self. That is, for example, this president is autocratic means the president what he force is like not other. So the person is not working with other people's contributed ideas. That the president is kind of selfish. That is, the person is kind of selfish. That is, he wants to impose his own idea on people. He don't want to listen to idea. So it means this statement itself is negative. Now you are under opposite in meaning. So your option should be in what? In positive form. And if you look at all these options, all of them are negative. So the answer is option D, once and for all. So which is what? Receptive. Do you get what I'm saying now? So this thing is not hard. But when you are nearest in meaning, when your answer, your question is in, when your question is positive, your word that they underline is positive, then your option also should be positive. So positive. So that's just the positivity and negativity rule. And to really help you when you are especially in opposite meaning, to really help you even without knowing the word. It's not as if all the word in English you have to know them at times, but once you know how it is, then you are good to go. So now we are now looking for the answer now. So I am optimistic about the interview, though it was mind-bending exercise. So this is what we are looking for. What's the meaning of mind-bending? We are looking for opposites in meaning. What's the meaning of mind-bending? What's the meaning of mind-bending? What's the meaning of, okay, let's look at the options one by one. What's the meaning of enervating? When I say something is enervating, something is like it takes one energy. That is, it takes your energy. Gideon yesterday after the class, I think this morning, he told me that I should rest. So it means he know that this live session is going to what? It's going to drain me. That is, it is enervating. That is something that takes your strength. So that's something that takes away your strength. So take away one's strength. So if you look at this word now, it's like negative. Enervating also, because it is taking your strength. You can also say it is negative. So what's debilitating? So you can look at it now, this one also is negative. But easy is positive. Look at it. So often automatically what's our answer like that? Answer is option D, without even knowing all the meanings. So debilitating, what's the meaning of debilitating? So debilitating means something that makes you weak. So making one weak, that's the meaning of debilitating. And we already know what difficult means. So mind bending, something that is mind bending means something that is difficult. So difficult. So difficult to achieve because it takes your strength. So that's mind bending, the meaning of mind bending. So it means our answer should be positive, which is what? Easy. So you can see that this thing is not hard. So the trader was amused by the cutthroat rush for the goods. Cutthroat. What's the meaning of cutthroat? That's what you have to know here. Cutthroat. The trader was amused by the cutthroat rush for the goods. If you look at this one is a little bit complicated. So cutthroat, we are looking for opposite in meaning. So don't forget yourself. Some of the times we want to forget what they're asking you, right? So what's the answer? If you know it, drop it in the option. So cutthroat. If you look at it, maybe people are rushing the traders products, and the person, the trader is kind of amused. Why are the people patronizing me like this? So the trader was amused by the cutthroat rush for the goods. So what's the answer? Is it worrisome? Is it strange? Is it lackluster? Is it mad? So what's the meaning of cutthroat? So cutthroat means intense. So something that is highly competitive. So that's what's cutthroat. Now what's the meaning of lackluster? What's the meaning of lackluster? So lackluster describes something that is not interesting. That is what? Lackluster. Not interesting. So you can see that this cutthroat, it has to do with opposite of this. You see now, cutthroat is something you want to get by all means. I want to buy a car now. But lackluster, something that's not interesting, that you don't even want to have. Something that is not interesting. Something that is not lively. Something that is not lively. Something that is not funny. So not lively. So things like that. So this is cutthroat has to be something that is intense, highly competitive, something that is good, something you want by all means, something that you want it. So that's cutthroat. So the opposite is what? Lackluster. That is, what's the meaning of lack? What's the meaning of luster? Luster means something that is shiny. So we said, I think diamond or something. We said diamond is luster. Luster means something that is shiny. We now put the word lack at the back. So it means that it is what? Not shiny. So it means not interesting, not attractive. So that's part of the things you need to know in word formation. I think by now I'm teaching you word formation even little by little. The teacher said that Alice's essay was full of redundant details. Redundant details. Now I want to ask you, is this word negative or positive? Redundant. So looking at this very well, it should be, it is negative. Redundant. So it is negative. So it means our option should be what? Positive. I'm not talking of positive or negative in that of. So is it, if you look at this now, I think this is also negative too. Necessary, this is positive, this is also positive. I think this is, yes, this is negative. Now we are looking for something positive. If you look at the option, you have two things that are positive. Now, what do you think will be the answer? They says the teacher said that Alice's essay was full of many redundancies. So this is where you have to know the meaning of the word some of the times. So what's the meaning of redundant? If I say something is redundant, redundant means something that is odious. What is the meaning of odious? If I say something is odious, it looks like Yoruba, but it's not Yoruba word. It's English. So odious means something that is useless. So what does it also mean again? It also means something that is not performing main function. That is what redundant. So it means Ali was just putting rubbish, something that is not necessary. No, something that is not useful inside something that is useless inside the essay. So the answer is, you want to choose necessary, but it's actually useful. That's the answer. Number 39. Number 39. His father surmounted the myriad of obstacles on his way. What's the meaning of myriad? Myriad. This myriad, is it positive or negative? Okay, let us look at the meaning of myriad first. What's the meaning of myriad? So myriad means what? Like collections of things. So myriad means many, something that is many. It also means eclectic, of a variety. It also means of different forms. So we have myriad of options. So myriad now is like something that is positive, or no, let us say it's much, something that is much. So his father surmounted a myriad of obstacles on the way. That maybe the person is walking in the dark, so you have a lot of obstacles in front of it. So what is it? So the answer opposite will now be few. So it has few. You know that myriad means many. What's the opposite of many? So that's few. He has what? Few obstacles on his way. So you can see that this thing is not hard. Just now, number 40. Ingenious smile. Ingenious smile. This is the word we are looking for. The ingenious smile drew our attention. What's the meaning of ingenious? Ingenious is something like, I think it should be negative word. Something that's not genuine. So we have naive, clever, witty, arrogance. What's the answer? Is it clever? Is it naive? Is it witty? Is it arrogant? What's the answer? Let's look at the meaning of ingenious. Okay, let me firstly tell you the meaning of witty. What's the meaning of witty? Witty means something that is wise, sagacious. If I say you are sagacious, means you are wise. Something that is shrewd. So, what of arrogance? We know arrogance is proud, pompous. So please, all these words, please write them down. Pompous, conceited. We talk about that. You are egoistic. So egotistic, sorry, it is egotistic, not egoistic. I made a mistake in the other place. So what of naive? If I say you are naive, it means you are so simple. You are not complex. You are simple. See how you dress naive to the club. You are naive. So what's the meaning of clever means? It also means you are wise. So things like that. Though it's not really a perfect word for wise, yeah. But clever is actually like something that is genuine. So what's the meaning of ingenious? So ingenious is not something good. It means what? It means so sorry. Ingenious is not something bad though, it's something good. Sorry. I thought it was ingenuine. That's what I thought. But it's actually something good. So it means innocent. It means honest. Oh, sorry, it's not my fault. This is ingenious. Ingenious. So it is actually different. So ingenious. So ingenious means innocence. honest and has trust towards others.